Imagine a man who never broke a promise. His life was a masterpiece of precision. A temple built from receipts, signed documents, and early arrivals. He didn't just follow the rules. He worshipped them. He believed the universe worked like a vending machine. Put in enough good behavior, and safety would fall out. He grew up in a house painted in neutral tones, where voices were lowered before they became dangerous, where emotions were edited before they were expressed. His parents taught him the most dangerous lie ever told to a child. Do what you're told, and nothing bad will ever happen to you. He didn't question it. He built his life around it. In school, he was a ghost in the front row. Never late. Never loud. Never curious beyond what was allowed. He didn't just learn the answers. He learned the boundaries. While other children tested the fences of the world, he reinforced them. Discipline became his personality. Compliance became his identity. When he entered the workforce, he didn't look for a dream. He looked for a fortress. He found a company older than his family name. Gray corridors. Thick policies. A history that promised permanence. He didn't see boredom. He saw protection. The pension plan wasn't money to him. It was proof that fear could be avoided. He signed his first contract with a steady hand. No doubt. No hesitation. To him, it wasn't employment. It was a sacred pact. He would give them his time. His youth. His silence. In return, they would give him something priceless. A place to exist. For 20 years, he was the perfect citizen. He bought a house in a neighborhood where every lawn was the same height. Every mailbox the same color. Every life neatly trimmed. He paid his mortgage 4 days early. Not because he had to, but because being early made him feel safe. Superior. Protected from chaos. He watched his neighbors closely. The man across the street started a business. Took risks. Failed. Our hero watched the car disappear from the driveway. And felt something dark settle inside him. He stepped outside the lines, he thought. This is the price of arrogance. The woman 2 houses down worked 3 jobs. And still struggled. She didn't plan, he decided. She didn't follow the sequence. In his mind, failure was a personal flaw. Poverty was a lack of discipline. He believed spreadsheets were shields. That organization was armor. That nothing bad could touch someone who did everything right. He lived by the responsible sequence. Go to school. Get the job. Buy the house. Pay the taxes. Wait. Wait for the reward. He didn't notice the sequence was written for a world that no longer existed. He didn't see the ground shifting beneath him. Didn't feel the board melting under the game he was playing. Because when you follow rules long enough, you stop looking around. You stop asking who wrote them. And why. He thought stability was something you earned. He didn't realize it was something you rented. The change didn't arrive with a disaster. It arrived quietly. Politely. In emails that thanked him for his loyalty. The company was restructuring. A word that sounds like creation, but really means subtraction. He wasn't afraid. He had seniority. He had records. He had decades of exceeds expectations. He had attended every mandatory seminar. Signed every temporary pay cut agreement. Followed every updated policy. He had been a loyal soldier. But systems don't reward loyalty. They reward efficiency. And a man who stays in the same chair for 20 years isn't efficient. He's expensive. On a Tuesday morning, at 10:15 a.m., his security badge stopped working. The red light didn't blink. It just stayed red. No arguments. No raised voices. No dramatic exit. A young man from Human Resources handed him a cardboard box. Someone who wasn't even born. When he signed his first contract. "It's just the market," the young man said. Eyes fixed on a tablet. "I followed the rules," our hero whispered. "The rules changed," the young man replied. "You should have checked the portal." Just like that. The door closed. And the system moved on. He went home to his perfect house. The lawn was still trimmed. The lights still turned on at the same hour. He sat at his desk and opened his files. There had to be a mistake. He had insurance. He had savings. He had prepared for this. He called the insurance company. A calm, synthetic voice explained that his policy contained a clause. On page 47, subsection B. A clause that excluded his specific type of termination. He called the bank. The interest rate on his safe mortgage had adjusted. The stable market had shifted. The house he had spent 20 years paying for was now worth less than the debt attached to it. He looked at his folders. Birth certificates. Tax returns. Warranty cards for appliances. That had already failed. Proof that he had been a good man. He realized he had built his entire life out of paper. Believing paper could stop a flood. He avoided debt. So he had no credit with the new lenders. He avoided trends. So his skills spoke a dead language. He avoided risk. So he had no network. Only a list of former colleagues. Too afraid to answer his calls. He had been so busy being correct that he forgot how to be resilient. Nothing illegal had happened. No one cheated him. No rules were broken. The company followed the contract. The bank followed the law. The government followed policy. The system worked perfectly. It just wasn't designed to save him. It was designed to function. And in the new function of the world, he was a rounding error. A legacy variable that needed to be cleared. He stood in his kitchen, looking at bills he could no longer pay. For the first time in his life, he didn't organize them, didn't label them, didn't file them. He finally understood. The rules were never a path to safety. They were a harness. They kept him moving in a straight line, while the world moved in circles. He had done everything right. The perfect son. The perfect student. The perfect employee. The perfect citizen. And the reward for his perfection was a quiet erasure. Outside, the streetlights turned on. Exactly on schedule. The world was still following the rules. He was not. He didn't lose because he made a mistake. He lost because he believed. The rules were there to protect him. Sometimes, the most dangerous thing you can do is exactly what you are told. The system didn't betray him. It used him exactly as designed. As the sun set over the quiet street, nothing looked different. The houses stood still. The schedules held. The lights flickered on right on time. The system was stable. It didn't care that he was good. It didn't care that he stayed late. It didn't care that he trusted it. The system doesn't run on intentions. It runs on ownership. It consumes compliance and produces stability. For those who control the machine, everyone else is just fuel. He had spent his life avoiding the loud ones, the risky ones, the rule breakers. Now he understood. They were the only ones who had built something of their own. He had rented his entire life from a landlord who didn't even know his name. He stood at the door, looking out at a world that kept moving without him. Perfectly. Indifferently. He didn't fail. He was finished.